Couldn't even begin to tell you guys how many people sent me the story. I'm thankful because I know people wanted to kind of hear what my thoughts were. I have a lot of opinions, and I think some of my opinions actually might shock some of you guys. But let's do this. Before I get into the story, I do have to give you a disclaimer so you will understand what type of content I am presenting to you. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. Now, so you guys should not be upset about my content nor flagging my content, right? But I want to show you guys this jerk off here on my screen. And his name is Dharmesh A. Patel. I don't know what ethnicity or nationality that makes him. I don't think it matters. I think he's a douchey individual. But this story comes out of Southern California, so y'all are taking the L today. Thank goodness that Texas don't have to take the L at the moment. But hold that thought. A Pasadena doctor charged with attempted murder of his wife and their two young children by intentionally driving their Tesla off the slide of a 250-foot cliff. And I do apologize to Kurt Dog earlier. I told him it was a 300-foot cliff. My bad. It was 250. I was 50 feet off. So my bad. And he's been pictured for the first time. That's the man that you guys saw right there. Let me back that up so you can take a look. I'm going to tell you guys what's so wild about this story. Initially, people thought that this might have been an accident. So people might be wondering, well, why is he arrested? How did they find out that this was not an accident? So I want you guys to take a look at that right there on my screen. Actually, let me make that bigger so you guys can take a look. They actually drew up a schematic. If you guys do not mind, and shout out to our channel members over there. I see you. Thank you so much. Let me blow this up on the screen for you guys so you guys can see this. Number one. Do I have to break out my trusty whiteboard? I don't think I'm going to have to. But over there on the right-hand side of the screen, if you guys can expand your screens, turn up your resolution, take a look. It says, number one, Patel. Yes, I'm going to have to break out my whiteboard so you can see the direction that he's going. Hold on. We're going to do this on the fly. Break out my trusty whiteboard real quick. Y'all give me a moment. Let me select my color and boom. So right here, number one. So Patel drives with speed northbound on H1 near Devil's Slide, and he's going in this direction. Right there to point number two. Point number two, he performs a U-turn before Tom Lantos Tunnel. Number two. So he performs a U-turn, goes this way to number three. Patel veers off the road, turning right onto a dirt area before veering off the cliff. So I want you guys to understand that this took some effort to do. This was not an accident, okay? Then they end up at the unfortunate point of number four, 250 effing feet down. Rescue teams find the family of four alive at the bottom of the cliff. And I want you guys to understand how ironic that is. So this man was so miserable that he wanted to not only end his life, but he put his entire family in jeopardy as well to lose their life. Even when the rescue crews were trying to rescue these people, you know what they said on the news? They said they were shocked that anybody was alive at all. Because first of all, that's a hell of a drop. 250 feet. Secondly, I'm not so sure how durable Tesla cars are. They're not very big cars. They're not meaty cars. They're not, constructed of stainless steel. Maybe they are. I don't know. But here's the cold part about it. I want you guys to tell me this. Is this story, and I don't mean to be too funny about this, and I hope the family that's alive don't take any disrespect to this. Is this not the best advertisement for Tesla? How many of you guys thought about it like that? Look at that. Tesla could literally use this, and I promise I know my humor is dark. I know some of y'all are not going to find that funny. I'm sorry. But Tesla could literally run their commercial and run one of these news broadcasts and say, take a look at that. Our cars survived that. A family of 4 is alive and survived that. Is that not the best Tesla commercial you could ever have when it talks about the safety of your cars? Talk about a 5-star safety warning. Every airbag possible went off and it saved their life. Isn't that something? Don't that make y'all want to go out and go invest in a Tesla? Knowing how many people out here can't drive, especially in Texas. I'm sorry, but out here in Texas, we drive really crazy. This fool, this dummy, this alleged father, Dharmesh A. Patel, is 42 years old, and he works as a radiologist at Providence Holy Cross Medical Center in Pasadena. And I wonder if that's where they took his family to preserve their life. It's really interesting. He is accused of intentionally driving his white Tesla Model Y. I'm sure that's probably I'm sure their stock probably went. I'm pretty sure their stock went through the roof. Drove his Tesla Model Y off a cliff known as Devil's Slide on Monday near San Francisco during a trip north. Miraculously, all 4 family members survived, so this is actually a positive story. His wife, Neha, and their kids, ages 4 and 7, survived without any serious injuries. There's a good chance that they probably didn't even break a toenail. Isn't that something? They built them Tesla cars real good, real good. Initially, there were questions over whether the car, which is famous for its self-driving technology, had gone rogue and taken the family off the road by mistake, which we now know that's not the case. Some are asking whether the vehicle, which has airbags adjacent to the front seats in addition to in the front of them, actually saved them. On Tuesday, police charged Patel with attempted homicide and child abuse, alleging that the incident was an attempted murder-suicide gone wrong. He has not been formally booked yet, but is still in Stanford Hospital. It's unclear whether his wife and kids are still receiving treatment in the hospital or if they've been discharged, but just know I believe they are still alive to the best of my knowledge. Neighbors told CBS News of their shock after learning the allegations against Patel, because I'm pretty sure he seems like a model citizen. They look like a happy family, and whatever he does for a living, I'm sure he's highly respected in his field. But why would he do this on purpose? I think Tesla actually wrote a post and they said, update. Initial media reports were incorrect. The 2 adults suffered non-life-threatening injuries and the 2 children were unharmed after their Model Y fell off a 250-foot down a steep cliff. If you want to keep your family safe, buy a Tesla. Wow. Even they recognize that's a great commercial. Roger Newmark, who lives several doors down from the family on a leafy Pasadena street, said that they're the sweetest couple and they have the greatest 2 little kids. The hospital where Patel works released a statement on Tuesday. Providence Holy Cross Medical Center is deeply saddened to learn of a traffic incident involving one of our physicians and his family. We are extremely grateful that there were no serious injuries. We will not respond further as this incident is under investigation. Among those to comment on this case was Tesla founder Elon Musk. So let's listen to Mr. Businessman himself. Yes, advertising. Oh, and I didn't even tell y'all, I'm getting this information from dailymail.com, so thank you. I do get a lot of my articles from them, so shout out to them. In a response to a tweet about how the family survived, Musk said, Good news. His fans say the fact that they all survived is proof of just how safe Tesla vehicles are. Now, I want to give a disclaimer. I know there's some dummies out there that are probably going to sue them if they get into an accident and somebody is seriously hurt. This doesn't mean that if you get into whatever accident that you're going to survive it. What I'm saying is that look what this car survived. These cars seem to be pretty good with safety. Police are yet to confirm their investigation into the crash and are yet to confirm why they think the family survived. They think the vehicle suffered one initial hit, then flipped multiple times in the air before landing upright on its wheels, which you guys saw that in the picture. It was pretty bad. The damage to the vehicle would indicate that it hit and then flipped several times, according to Brian Pottinger, battalion chief with the Cowes Fire Coastside Fire Protection District. Blah, blah, blah. Goodness gracious, that gives me a headache trying to read all of that. But let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's take a look at the news videos. Only got a couple. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And if you guys are wondering what the shirt says, it says Babies' Lives Matter. The AFC podcast. You guys can actually find that shirt, okay? If y'all are wondering what it says. But some of y'all are asking, how do they project it that he did this on purpose? Well, you have to rewind the video, watch it, because we just talked about that. But they're also going to talk about this in the news videos as well. So here we go.
New this morning, a Pasadena doctor has been charged with attempted murder and child abuse after police say he drove his family intentionally off of a 250-foot cliff. Imagine that. The pictures of this white Tesla crushed at the bottom of Devil's Slide in Northern California are shocking enough, as is the word the family of four somehow survived this crash. Alex Capriello is live with his details. And Alex, this is just shocking.
Mitch, good morning to you. Yeah, rescue officials are saying that this is an absolute miracle that all four of these people were able to survive this really dramatic wreck more than 250 feet down a California cliff. The four people inside that Tesla, a 42-year-old man, a 41-year-old woman, as well as a 7-year-old little girl and a 4-year-old little boy. All four of them said to be alert and alive when they were transported to the hospital. Now, we have some dramatic video from that rescue that we want to show you folks at home. Take a look here. You can see it's from inside one of the helicopters as multiple agencies work to free the victims trapped inside. First responders used the jaws of life to pry open the car doors, which were jammed shut from the multiple barrel rolls it did down the side of the cliff. They then utilized a rope and pulley system to hoist those children and adults back to safety. Crews battled harsh conditions the entire time, like constant rain, heavy wind, and crashing waves to get the four of them out into safety.
And Alex, I know this is not an ad for Tesla's safety rating, but you got to guess it might make its way into one. But can you tell us specifically about this section?
Yes, it is an advertisement. Yes, it is. Please say it again.
Of the road. Is this known to be dangerous?
Yeah, this is a part of Northern California called Devil's Slide. It's about 15 miles south of San Francisco, and it's on the Pacific Coast Highway. And here's what you need to know about PCH. Number one, that it runs almost the entirety of California. But then number two, it is really windy, and it has these dramatic views of the ocean from below, often traveling through cliff sides. At this part of Devil's Slide, it is known for wrecks, but very rarely do you see any survivors come out of it alive. And this section where this Tesla was said to drop off was said to have no guardrail, Mitch.
And do we know any more about the people inside? You mentioned their ages, but what more do we know about the miraculous survivors of this crash?
Yeah, News Nation was able to identify the driver. That's 42-year-old Dharmesh.
Okay, so again, some people might not have caught this either in the title or what I was saying earlier when I was reading the news article or even giving my opinion. This does not appear to be an accident. N-O-T, not an accident. This looks like it was done intentionally. I showed the schematic of where they showed where he would have had to make a real effort where he was traveling compared to where he ended up going to drive off the side of that cliff. He did a U-turn. Can y'all type that in the chat? Maybe some people can't hear the sound of my voice. He did a U-turn and continued driving off. That took intent. That took effort.
Patel. He's actually a doctor down here in Southern California in the San Fernando Valley. The hospital has identified the other people inside that car as his family. Now, as for the evidence, police say that they have enough to suspect that he intentionally drove this vehicle over the side of the cliff, and that's why the preliminary charges right now are attempted murder as well as child abuse. He will be booked in jail once he's released from the hospital.
My goodness. You know he has to be treated before he can be released, but my goodness, I just...
Wow.
Thank you.
This morning, the passengers of this mangled car somehow are alive after their Tesla plunged more than 250 feet off the side of a cliff south of San Francisco.
We come out here, unfortunately, all too often for things like this, and this was nothing short of a miracle that they survived.
Police say 41-year-old Dharmesh Patel was driving along a dangerous stretch of coastal highway known as Devil's Slide when he purposefully drove off the cliff, sending the car flipping several times before landing on its wheels just steps away from the ocean. In the car with him, police say, were his wife and 2 children, ages 4 and 9. A dramatic rescue playing out as 3 helicopters and more than 30 rescuers scrambled to reach the mangled vehicle.
We had 300-foot ropes, and we just about maxed them out to get down to those people.
Rescuers pulled the children out of the back window and brought them up the cliff in a rescue basket. The adults suffered more serious injuries and had to be hoisted up the cliff by helicopter. Incredibly, all 4 sustained non-life-threatening injuries and were taken to a local hospital. Police say Patel, a doctor at a Los Angeles hospital, will now be charged with attempted murder and child abuse.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking.
A Pasadena father has been charged with attempted murder and child abuse after police say he drove his family off a steep cliff in Northern California yesterday on purpose. 41-year-old Dharmesh Arvind Patel was arrested Monday at Stanford Hospital. Investigators say after speaking to witnesses and putting together evidence from the scene, they believe Patel drove off the cliff intentionally. Patel's 41-year-old wife, 7-year-old daughter, and 4-year-old son were all in the car at the time of the crash and fell more than 250 feet in their Tesla. They are all expected to be okay. Neighbors we spoke with in Pasadena are stunned by the crash and the arrest.
Yeah, I'm stunned by it because you just don't really think about what could happen on a day-to-day basis with neighbors and family and friends. And this is, shocking. And I just hope my heart goes out to the family. And I know everybody on this block will come out and support everybody in the Patel family to get through this.
Patel is listed as a doctor at Providence Holy Cross Medical Center in Mission Hills. The hospital said in a statement they are grateful no one was seriously injured.
Is it going to play this one? Let me see. I think that might have been my last video.
It's a miracle they survived. Now, shocking revelations after a beloved Pasadena family plunged off a treacherous cliff in their Tesla. Investigators say this was no accident. Tonight, the father, who's a local doctor, is under arrest.
Okay, I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but nonetheless, you've heard the majority of those news stories. And no, this does not appear to be an accident. But here's what you'd have to ask is why? What was he going through? Was this man being sued? I was actually talking with Kurt Dog about this earlier, and shout out to my brother, my friend Kurt Dog. And I was talking to him about this earlier, about potential scenarios. Like, was he potentially about to get exposed for a cheating relationship, or he and his wife arguing? Did she threaten to divorce him? Now, there's a reason why I'm bringing up potential divorce, if they were having those conversations, because lately there have been a collective of stories that have been coming out where these women who ask for the marriage will then ask for the divorce. The divorce rate is extremely high, and you've also noticed that the death rate has been going up when it comes to these men harming their wives or about to be ex-wives and the children. So there have been a lot of, how can I say this? There have been a lot of murders lately, and I'm actually going to talk about some more here on some upcoming stories about how these husbands get disgruntled for whatever reason, and they like, you know what, I'm going to take everybody out. I'm going to end everybody's life. And that's been happening a lot. It happened a whole lot in 2022. We've already got a handful of stories here for 2023, believe it or not, of this exact same scenario, which is why I'm bringing that up. We don't really know the cause, but the fact that all of them are alive, I think that, first of all, the wife needs to take her kids and separate from this dude. I hope this dude gets charged. I hope he gets arrested. I hope he gets, like, if he's really rich, depending on what he's a radiologist, I don't know how much money he makes. I'd say give him a bond that he can't afford, like $16 billion. 16 billion, maybe 16 million, maybe billion is too much. He might not be a multimillionaire. Give him a $16 million bond. That way, what, 1,600,000 he'd have to get out, 10% to a bail bondsman? And maybe that'll be enough to buy his wife some time to be able to separate, get her kids, and run. Thank you. Somebody caught it in the chat. Run, ma'am. Run. And don't look back. Because if this dude was trying to end your life, I guarantee you, he will love to finish the job. So I want to also say this about those ladies who have ever been in violent relationships. I want y'all to talk to the people. Please type a comment. Leave a comment in the comment section for any woman, any lady, any girl who has been through domestic abuse, who has been through violence, who has been through a situation where a man has been controlling to try to control you financially, try to control you mentally, try to control you with the kids, try to control you with threats. Threats of violence, threats of whatever, has this menacing tone, looks at you in a crazy way. How many ladies can attest to what I'm saying, huh? How many of you ladies have ever dealt with a man who was overbearing? Too much. And I'm going to tell you this. One thing that a lot of these ladies can attest to, and I can speak to this because I know some of these ladies' personal stories, friends that I've had for a lot of years can tell you. Abuse doesn't have a specific face. Abuse does not have a specific face. Just because you have a face like this and you smile and you paid to have nice white teeth and a nice good haircut and nice clean clothes and your kids look good and y'all look like a happy family and y'all are taking photos with the best cameras, does not mean that you're not an asshole. Just because you don't wear your pants hanging off of your ass don't mean you're not a jerk. Don't mean you're not an abuser. Abuse can come in many forms, in many shapes, and it can look like different things. And that does not mean that this man is not an abuser, because I believe that he is. And I believe that he had every intention to end his own life and his family's life. And for that, I hope he gets no bail, hope he gets a life sentence, and I hope his wife and children appreciate and go out and buy them kids a Tesla whenever they graduate high school. How about that? Get them a Model Y or a Model Z, whatever comes out here in the next 15 years when them kids grow up and become something great, right? But matter of fact, I think Elon Musk, how about this? Maybe let me throw this out there. Maybe if I get lucky enough and blessed enough, if Elon Musk will share this video of mine, and maybe he needs to buy this family, not only buy them a replacement Tesla or give them one, but give the kids Teslas when they grow up and they're able to get their license to drive, right? But anyway, that's my thoughts about this story. Thank you so much. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this story. Were they lucky, or did Tesla just really build an amazing car? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you.